If you're running a business, chances are you're using Google Workspace or Microsoft 365, the two giants in the productivity space. But there is another player that's built on one of the most complete ecosystems out there. I spent literally months testing it in real workflows, and I think it deserves serious attention. It is called Zoho Workplace, and it's not just a budget alternative. It's a fully integrated suite that includes email, it includes file storage, collaboration tools, video meetings, and even password management, and much more. So today, come with me as we're diving into everything Zoho Workplace offers. I'll cover features, I'll cover security, performance, pricing, and whether it's the right fit for your team. And that's everything you need to know to make an informed decisions for your business. So let's grab a coffee together. I've got mine here, and let's get into it. All right, so what exactly is Zoho Workplace? Zoho Workplace is a productivity and collaboration suite that brings together business email hosting, essentially, file storage and management, office apps like Google Docs and Sheets, team communication like Slack or Microsoft Teams. You have also calendar integration, and there's even password management. So it wants to replace password managers like 1Password. And there's even some user and access controls, and it's all in one unified platform. All of its apps are essentially designed to work together. I mean, it's one company is building all these tools, so they actually better work together, but obviously it's up for testing whether email, calendar, customer data, projects, and finances are really connected all in one place and whether everything works smoothly. Now, the target audience of Zoho when browsing the website is pretty clear to me. It's for small and medium-sized businesses and startups that want enterprise-level features without essentially the enterprise-level price tag that's attached to most of these solutions. Now, let's dive into the core features. Let's start with one of Zoho's core components, Zoho Mail, which unsurprisingly is used to manage email and communication. It gives you professional email hosting with your own domain name. So instead of using something like @gmail.com, your team can send emails from @yourcompany.com. And what stood out to me while testing Zoho Mail was how clean the interface was. It really keeps things simple, but still feels packed with powerful features like shared mailboxes for team collaboration, built-in task management, and the ability to tag teammates in email comments, which is super helpful if you're working on multiple projects at once. This helps keep conversations really focused and without endless forwarding or long CC chains. I mean, you've all been there, right? But here's where I hit a major frustration during my 3-month evaluation. The search functionality is honestly a bit terrible. I found myself constantly struggling to find emails unless I was almost exact with my search terms. I'd search for one word from an email, I knew it existed, really, and it just wouldn't find it. You have to be incredibly precise, which is completely impractical for daily use because what do I know? What phrase did I use 1 year ago in that email, right? But still I want to find it. And this became actually one of my biggest pain points with the platform. Speaking of emails, if you want to stay on top of all the latest developments in cloud storage, in online security, and digital privacy, you should definitely sign up for our newsletter. I send out curated roundups a few times a week covering the biggest new security breaches you need to know about, like new privacy tools worth trying and honest takes on the latest cloud services. There's literally no fluff, just the stuff that actually matters for keeping your data safe and choosing the right tools for your business. You can sign up using the link in the description, and I promise I won't spam you with daily emails or try to sell you anything. It's just valuable insight from me as a business owner, straight delivered to your inbox. Now back to Zoho. Where it really shines is how everything works together. Instead of email existing in isolation, it's really fully connected to the rest of the platform. For example, if someone sends you a document, you can open it right from your inbox using Zoho's built-in Office apps. You can edit it with your team directly and save it directly to WorkDrive, Zoho's cloud storage, all without switching tabs, and it syncs across your various computers and machines. Now, communication also goes beyond email. Thanks to Zoho Cliq, the platform's built-in chat and video conferencing tool is very smooth. Cliq supports one-on-one messaging and also channel-based conversations with built-in file sharing, audio and video calls, and screen sharing. Think of Cliq as Zoho's version of Microsoft Teams or Google Chat, but with a few unique features that stood out to me during testing. However, I encountered serious performance issues with Cliq during my evaluation. The mobile app runs, well, at least for me, painfully slow. Scrolling feels even a little bit choppy and unresponsive, and I experienced multiple crashes on both my phone and my desktop. And when I tried sharing links from external browsers, it took forever to load in. This isn't a device issue. I was testing on fast, modern hardware. The app just can't keep up with, it seems like, basic operations, which is concerning for something as critical as team communication. So if you have similar issues with Cliq, write down in the comments. It'd be really interesting to hear your thoughts on this, and maybe we can get a little chat starting in the comment section. And Cliq creates what Zoho calls a virtual office. That means you can see when your team members are online, when they've checked in for the day, and even what they're currently working on. So if they've shared their status, obviously. Now, there is a built-in check-in and check-out system, so teammates can log their start and end times, kind of like a digital punch clock. So usually when you have, in Slack, maybe you have a channel and you let team members say, hey, when did you start working? When did you end working? What did you work on that day? This is all basically already built in and baked into this solution, which is quite practical because you don't have to work your way around this kind of setup. You can also set custom statuses like I'm in a meeting or I'm working on a client report, which helps keep everyone in the loop without needing constant messages. And especially in a remote team, this is a way to really recreate presence if you usually have a physical office, right? And as a remote team, this presence and this connection is really something that, that remote teams struggle with at times. Moving on to collaboration. Zoho Workplace comes with its own full-featured Office suite. What does that mean? Well, you've got Zoho Writer for documents, you've got Zoho Sheet for spreadsheets, and Zoho Show for presentations. Now, these aren't stripped-down versions. You get a lot of the same functionality you'd expect from competing Office apps. You have Zoho Writer, which basically handles everything from rich formatting and email merges to collaborative editing and document review workflows. So you can leave comments, you can suggest edits and see a full version history of the document, which is very helpful, obviously, if you want to check who edited what and how the document evolved over time. And like from Google Docs, it works in real time. So you'll see changes from teammates instantly. So Sheets comes with advanced formulas. It comes with pivot tables. For all of you who work with pivot tables on a daily basis, this will be a welcome addition. Conditional formatting, right? And even AI-powered data analysis, making it more than capable for financial planning as well. But here's what really kind of frustrated me during my spreadsheet testing. Zoho Sheet has this annoying habit of hanging or freezing, and you often don't know if your data is actually saved. Right? With Google Docs or Google Sheets, I'm always pretty confident, even if I work with a sheet with 10,000 rows, right? It's getting slower, right? But I'm always confident that it's saved when I come back. Now, on Zoho Sheets, I'd be working on a complex spreadsheet and it would freeze up for a few seconds, and then I'd have no idea whether my last entries were preserved because it kind of looks frozen, you know what I mean? And for business use, that uncertainty about whether your work is actually saved is genuinely problematic, because obviously I don't want to lose my work, and it might cost you thousands of dollars if you need to recoup what you've just worked on that day. Let's talk about Zoho Show, their presentation tool, which supports animations, multimedia embedding. It also supports seamless collaboration. So what stood out to me during testing was that the collaboration feels pretty fluid and familiar. So if you've used Google Docs or Microsoft Word Online, you'll feel right at home here, and there is little to no learning curve. But Zoho's ecosystem goes literally well beyond this just pure document collaboration. For project management, for example, there is something called Zoho Projects, right? So this is a great tool for planning, tracking, and delivering projects. You can break work into tasks. You can assign them to your team. You can track the progress visually with Gantt charts, and obviously our beloved Kanban boards. Who doesn't like them? Who doesn't love them, right? You can also set up task dependencies. You can monitor timelines, log billable hours with built-in time tracking. So there is really a lot going on, right? And if you're managing client work, you can tie projects directly to Zoho Invoice or Zoho Books for billing. So you don't need like a separate app for this. You don't need a separate subscription for this. It just ties them together and pulls all the data you need to create a beautiful invoice for you. Zoho Books is essentially a full accounting suite, right? You can create and send invoices, you can track expenses, you can manage inventory, you can generate detailed reports like profit and loss statements. And what I found really interesting was that it also connects to your bank accounts and automates recurring tasks like payment reminders and tax calculations. So it updates automatically your bank account so you can reconcile all the payments that you've made instantly in the system. And it's just a time saver, because if you're dependent on really thorough accounting, some countries are a little more lenient than others. But if you are, I don't know, in Germany, or if you are in the United States, probably you need really strict accounting procedures. If your business needs, on the other hand, are a little simpler, so Invoice gives you just what you need to create professional invoices and also accept your payments directly online. Now, if Zoho is known for one thing, it's probably their CRM. Zoho CRM is arguably their flagship product, and it's also at the heart of like how many businesses use the platform. And when you search Zoho, probably Zoho CRM is the first thing that pops up, but it might be a little bit intimidating because there are like so many features, so many things going on in this ecosystem of the CRM, and you may not know if you really need it, right? But a CRM essentially just helps companies manage everything about their, customer relations, right? So it includes sales automation tools so you can track your leads in certain deal stages. And what's super important is you can schedule automatic reminders and automatic email follow-ups, and then assign those follow-ups to your team based on custom workflows. And you can even develop custom workflows just for certain sales sequences. So it's really, really powerful in this regard. There's also a strong marketing component. So if you are a marketing agency or marketing company, you can create campaigns, you can segment your audience, you can post to social media, you can send targeted email blasts all from within the CRM. And so CRM just really doesn't stop there, right? It helps you, at least this is how I felt it while I was adding my data to it. It helps you understand and digest your data in a way that not a lot of CRMs are doing it, because if you look at HubSpot or Salesforce or anything like it, it seems so convoluted and so complicated. And so CRM really makes it simple to understand. And if you want to just give it a ride and see if that's your thing, you can find the links in the description box below to sign up for Zoho. And there's a free trial, so there's no commitment on your part. And you can just fill it with some sample data and play around with all the features that I just mentioned to you and see if it's a good fit for your business or not. And last but not least, there's powerful analytics and reporting dashboards, which are super customizable, and you can track what's important to your business, your so-called KPIs. You can see the trends, you can see revenues, and then obviously what every business owner wants, you want to make smarter money decisions. So your business stays your business and it stays profitable. What ties all of this together is Zia. Zoho's AI-powered assistant. Maybe I should ask my team to come up with better names for all these AI assistants, because we literally have millions of them. If you have a good idea for an AI assistant name, drop a comment below, because I'm really super curious of how you would name your AI assistant. Anyway, Zia works across multiple apps. You can ask it for sales numbers inside Zoho CRM, like, hey, get me the numbers for April, right? And then it would summarize everything and give you a report on that. You can obviously get grammar suggestions in Writer or auto-generate charts from a data in Sheets. So it's really nothing, I would say, groundbreaking, out of the ordinary. But yeah, it helps you not having to move and not having to switch to other tools. And then, yeah, basically you add 20, 30 minutes to your workflow. And finally, if your business has specific needs that outgrow pre-made templates or built-in features, as I mentioned before, Zoho gives you the option to build your own tools with Zoho Creator. It's a low-code platform that lets you custom build apps with drag and drop tools and minimal coding. I mean, yeah, you need to be technical, right? It's not for the faint of heart. Still, if it says no coding platform, there is a learning curve, I would say. So probably you need someone on your team, or you really buy a course on how to create your creators inside Zoho, because yeah, you will probably not get it done so fast. If you want to build a custom workflow, if you want to build an inventory tracker, or maybe even an internal dashboard, yeah, that's all what you could do with the Zoho ecosystem, with a slight learning curve obviously attached to that. Now, okay, let's talk about something that, if you have a bigger team, it's important. It's the admin experience, because as your team grows, obviously you got to manage people, right? And you have to take care of permissions, and obviously who can see what, who can edit what, who can do what in your system. And security can get very, very complicated so quickly. And I mean, we're a small team here, but I mean, we're probably 30, 35, 40 freelancers at CloudWorks that we're all work together to create this content for you. And it gets messy sometimes. Who can see what? And people leave your team and you need to change permissions, and you have a very good overview about who can see what in your business. And Zoho includes a tool called Zoho Directory, and it serves as the central hub for managing users across the entire platform. So from the admin console, you can add or remove users. You can even reset passwords and assign roles and control what each person has access to based on their role in the company. Now, what I found especially useful were the built-in security settings. You can require two-factor authentication and restrict access by IP address, and even set expiration dates for shared links. Something that any cloud storage service should offer, but I think it's still worth pointing out. You can also group users into departments and apply custom permissions to each groups, which makes it easier to manage as your team scales, because you don't have to give permissions to individual users. You take the group, you add a user to the group, and when that person leaves, you just remove from the group, and you don't have to remove the user or switch the permissions in the user. So that makes it very, very quick. Overall, I think the dashboard is pretty clean. It's pretty easy to use, even if you don't have a dedicated IT admin, right? You can do it as a small business owner. You can do it yourself, even if you're not very technical. And well, if you're part of a larger organization, Zoho also supports the single sign-on feature that you can integrate with external identity providers if you need that. So as is usual with Zoho, you can upgrade your needs as you need and as your team grows. And once your team is set up and running, the next big question is, well, where does all that work actually live? Where do you save files? Where does Zoho save files, right? And this is where Zoho WorkDrive comes in. And Zoho's cloud storage and file management is integrated into the system, as with everything at Zoho, right? And this is what it sets really apart from competitors like Google Workspace or Microsoft 365, right? While those services give you one way to access your files, WorkDrive gives you essentially three completely different methods, depending on whether you want to stream files virtually, whether you want to sync them locally to different desktops, or open them directly on your desktop apps. And it offers 3 desktop apps to match, each built for a specific workflow. And choosing the right one can actually change your day-to-day experience. And we're going to dig into that a little bit because I think just a high-level overview is a bit complicated to understand. So bear with me for a second. First up, there is WorkDrive Sync. And this works like classic cloud storage, right? It downloads files to your computer and keeps them synced with the cloud. Now, it's great if you have plenty of local storage and if you want offline access on all your machines and different offices and whatnot. It's similar how Dropbox or Google Drive works, right? Reliable, familiar, we all know it, we all love it. But yes, it can eat up hard drive space very, very quickly. So let's have a look at WorkDrive TrueSync, which creates a virtual drive on your computer. This means your files look like they're stored locally, but they're actually streamed from the cloud in real time. We've seen this plenty of times with pCloud Drive, for example, which I absolutely love. And this means you can browse and open huge folders, videos, design assets, datasets without taking up local space. And in my testing, TrueSync was a total game changer when dealing with large files. Granted, I already know this feature from pCloud and from other cloud services who followed suit with this virtual drive feature. So if you're a video editor, you can scrub through raw footage, and designers can basically access full resolution Photoshop documents, and developers can manage giant code bases all without worrying about their laptop running out of space. There is obviously the issue with the cache, right? It has to download files, so you need some space on your computer. You just don't need it all the time if you only need to access certain files infrequently. And, well, there's an upgrade to the 64-bit architecture that has made everything feel a lot snappier and faster. Then there's a third app, well, let's not complicate it more, right? Called WorkDrive Genie. It's designed for people who still rely on desktop apps like Microsoft Word or Excel. And with Genie, you can open a document stored in WorkDrive directly in your local app. And you can make the edits, you can hit save, and the changes sync back to the cloud automatically. So there's no need to download and re-upload anything manually. And it's a really simple and straightforward process. Now, I get it. This three-app approach might sound a little complicated at first. And I was like, oh my God, Zoho, seriously, 3 applications for one thing? But once you see it in action, it actually makes a lot of sense. It gives each person on your team what they need based on how they work, what type of computer they have, in which country they are, what their internet connection is, right? Your graphic designers might use TrueSync to instantly access huge asset libraries without filling up their hard drives. And your finance team might rely on WorkDrive Sync to keep local copies of spreadsheets for offline work, right? And your writers or legal team might love Genie because it lets them keep using their favorite editing software while still benefiting from cloud storage and backup. And that flexibility is part of what WorkDrive makes such a strong tool for teams with diverse needs. All right, it's not all sunshine and roses, right? That said, I did obviously encounter some problems when stress testing the collaboration. When I coordinated with other testers to work on the same file simultaneously, which we usually do here at CloudWords, we have a team of 5 cloud testers and we throw everything at it that we can, multiple folders, multiple files, simultaneous accesses, right? So the cloud storage services have to suffer quite a bit under our testing procedure. And in this case, folders became corrupted, and we saw display error messages that persisted for days sometimes. So we had to restart applications, and even then, some folders remained completely inaccessible with persistent error messages. And for large file handling, I found WorkDrive unfortunately struggles a little bit, right? So during my testing with big video files and high volume uploads, I consistently experienced slow performance and sync failures when working with large documents or when multiple people were collaborating simultaneously on high resource jobs, right? So while in practice, the WorkDrive might sound great, in a day-to-day work, it was error prone and a little bit complicated. So your mileage may vary, but I'm interested to hear your thoughts on how you deal with it when you use Zoho WorkDrive if you have the same problems. Okay, there are obviously more features in WorkDrive. It includes a built-in watermarking, which helps protect sensitive documents from being copied or misused. There's also a handy image editor called Zoho Annotator that lets you crop, highlight, and mark up images right inside the platform. Again, no extra software needed. So how does all of this come together in the real world? And let me give you a few quick examples. A creative agency might use WorkDrive TrueSync to pull high-resolution visuals, collaborate on campaign documents in Writer, and check in daily through Cliq, and manage client relationships in Zoho CRM all within the same system. Doesn't sound too bad, right? Now, a remote-first software team might plan sprints in Zoho Projects, store API keys in the Vault, and track timelines in Sheet and manage team access with Directory. Also not too bad, right? Or a legal services firm might rely on WorkDrive for secure document storage, use Writer for drafting contracts, share access through Vault, and sign everything digitally using Zoho Sign. Not too bad, right? So the beauty of Zoho Workplace is how modular yet interconnected everything is. Every team can pick the tools that fit their workflow without needing to patch things together with the third-party apps. And listen, speaking of flexibility, one area worth highlighting is the mobile experience. Zoho offers mobile versions of Mail, WorkDrive, Cliq, Writer, and even Vault. The apps work well for things like checking messages, reviewing files, or responding to teammates on the go. And I found that push notifications are reliable, and the mobile version of Cliq makes it easy to stay in sync with your team no matter where you are. That said, and you know me, there's always an asterisk to when I talk about features here and talk about our testing methodology. Editing documents or spreadsheets on mobile, especially with complex formatting, can still feel quite limited compared to tools like Google Docs or Microsoft Office. The apps are improving step by step, but for now, they're best suited for like quick updates rather than heavy editing. Still, having access to your documents, messages, passwords, and tasks from your phone or tablet, it does add a lot of flexibility, right? Especially for hybrid or remote teams like ours. Okay, now, another key part of collaboration is, well, as you might have guessed it, video communication. And Zoho offers its own solution here too. It is called, yeah, you guessed it, Zoho Meeting. What's nice about Zoho Meeting is that it's completely browser-based, so your attendees don't need to download anything to join. You can schedule and host secure video meetings. You can easily share your screen, record sessions, and even host webinars with custom registration forms. So it's all there that you need in this case. The interface, yeah, it's pretty clean. It's pretty simple. It's not trying to compete with Zoom on every feature. But I think for internal team meetings or client check-ins, it works really well. You can send meeting invites directly from Zoho Mail or Cliq, and recordings can be saved to WorkDrive, making them easy to access later. If your team runs live trainings or product demos, Zoho Meeting also gives you tools like moderator controls, attendee reports, and automatic follow-ups. And finally, to tie everything together, there is Zoho Flow, Zoho's workflow automation tool. And Flow lets you connect different apps and automate repetitive tasks. You can create custom workflows between Zoho tools or even link Zoho with outside platforms like Trello, like Dropbox, Slack, or even Salesforce, right? For example, you can set up a flow so that when a new lead is added in Zoho CRM, a task is automatically created in Zoho Projects. Then a message gets sent to your sales team in Cliq, and a spreadsheet is updated in Zoho Sheet, all without anyone touching a thing. The interface uses drag and drop system, so you don't need to be a developer to use it. You can start with ready-made templates or build your own flows from scratch, including conditions, delays, filters. And that kind of automation can be a game changer, saving your team hours every week and helping everything run more smoothly behind the scenes. And then you can just sit back and enjoy your coffee. Now, let's talk about Zoho security and privacy features. First, we have Zoho Vault, the platform's built-in password manager. It offers password storage protected with AES 256-bit encryption. And one feature I found especially useful during my testing was the security dashboard, which flags weak or reused passwords across your organization. And then there is Super Admin Audit, which logs every password-related action, complete with timestamps and IP addresses, and that level of traceability is something you usually only get from enterprise tools that cost hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars per year. So a lot of small businesses either don't use password managers at all, which is a terrible idea. I can 100% guarantee if you don't use a password manager, you're going to miss out on so much security and so much convenience. You're going to regret it. Mark my words. Anyway, so they don't use it at all, or they rely on insecure workarounds like spreadsheets, or even worse, browser autofill. My God. With Zoho, password management is baked in directly into the platform, meaning the team members can securely share credentials. Admins can enforce strong password policies. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is not a secure passwords, despite what my grandmother thinks. And everyone can stay compliant with those rules without needing extra software, right? Another thing I appreciated during my testing is how Vault integrates with the rest of Zoho Workplace. Obviously, right? It should. It's the same company. But when you're setting up a new service, say a CRM or a help desk tool, you can generate strong passwords. You can store them securely and instantly share access with the right people. It creates a secure by default workflow that a lot of organizations struggle to implement. And we hear this all the time, that this is something super important, but very hard to implement. Okay, password management is obviously just one piece of the puzzle, hey, huh? They also offer other security features, including two-factor authentication, IP-based access restrictions, and data loss prevention tools. So for organizations dealing with sensitive information, Zoho provides detailed audit trails and compliance reporting that would typically require expensive enterprise accounts and solutions. However, it's worth noting that Zoho manages and keeps control over your encryption keys through their own in-house KMS or key management service. That means while your data is encrypted, Zoho itself holds the keys, not you. It's not necessarily like a red flag. Many platforms work this way, especially in the enterprise space, but for businesses handling ultra-sensitive data or those needing customer management or customer-managed encryption keys, this could be a deal breaker, right? For privacy, so privacy policy is pretty clear. So it doesn't scan your emails, it doesn't build advertising profiles, and doesn't sell data to third parties. Hello? Hello, Google. Hello, other big tech companies, right? So it's pretty safe on the privacy front. Now, let's talk speed. Something quite important when you work with a lot of documents and bigger files and a lot of team members. Specifically, obviously, for Zoho WorkDrive. And Zoho's cloud storage solution it's there. And in our most recent tests, upload and download speeds were quite solid and consistent, but it's worth noting, they're not the fastest out there, right? File uploads for WorkDrive averaged 8 minutes and 10 seconds for our standard 5 GB test folder, while downloads completed in an average of 7 minutes and 58 seconds. I also ran the same test without any bandwidth limits to see like how fast can we actually take it, to see if my faster internet would really make a difference. Uploads improved only slightly, dropping to 8 minutes and 7 seconds, and downloads came down to 7 minutes and 44 seconds. This suggests that it's basically Zoho servers, not your internet connection, that typically set the pace. On average, speeds held steady at about 9.5 megabytes per second, and they seem to top at around 12 megabytes per second. It's not really slow, but there are certainly faster services out there. If you compare it especially to services like a Dropbox or a Google Drive, it's reliable. And for most business use cases, it really gets the job done without noticeable slowdowns. Okay, let's talk about pricing. First off, there is a forever free plan. It gives you email hosting for up to 5 users with 5 GB of storage per user. But keep in mind, this free version is pretty limited. It doesn't support IMAP or POP, and it doesn't include file storage, so it's really only useful for the most basic email needs. For businesses that need more functionality, Zoho offers a few pay tiers, and the most popular one is called the Workplace Standard Plan. And this plan includes 30 GB of email storage per user, 10 GB of WorkDrive file storage per user that scales with your team, and access to the full suite of tools: Mail, Calendar, WorkDrive, Writer, Sheets, you name it. Cliq for chat, Meeting for video calls, Vault for password management, and Directory for user and security controls. So if you need more, there's a Workplace Professional plan, and this bumps your email storage up to 100 GB. It adds another 100 GB for email retention, and it increases WorkDrive storage to 100 GB per user. So you also get premium features like email retention and e-discovery, and enhanced security compliance controls, features you'd usually only find in enterprise-level packages from other providers. Now, just to give you some perspective, Google Workspace Business Starter starts at $7 per user per month, but that's basically only gets you 30 GB of combined email and file storage, and doesn't include extras like password management. And meanwhile, Zoho's standard plan includes Zoho Vault, which replaces a third-party password manager that otherwise costs you another $3 to $5 per user per month. And Zoho also has email-only plans, where when you really don't need the full suite, right? Mail Lite gives you basic email with 5 GB of storage, while Mail Premium offers 50 GB of email storage plus retention features, but neither includes file storage or the Office apps. But raw pricing doesn't tell the whole story. And when you step back and consider everything that's bundled into Zoho Workplace, email hosting, file storage, Office apps, video conferencing, password management, well, in my book, the value starts to be pretty hard to beat. And a typical small business like ours, well, I mean, we're using Google Workspace, and we need to buy always separate apps and tools and services and add users. So that's why I was looking at Zoho Workplace, if it might be a good replacement for us, right? And all these extra tools, they just add up the bill just to match what Zoho includes by default, right? And what I really liked during my testing was that Zoho lets you mix and match the plans. So you can put most of your team on the standard plan and upgrade just a few power users like managers or IT leads to the professional plan with higher storage and security features. Not like Google Drive, where everybody has to be on the same plan, whether you really need it or not. That kind of flexibility is really incredibly useful for growing teams like ours that really don't want to overpay on all these features that no one really needs, right? Okay, now let's talk about who Zoho Workplace is really for, and just as importantly, where it might fall short, which you've heard here in this review, but it's just a little summary for you at the end. Zoho Workplace is, in my book, a strong choice for small to mid-sized businesses looking for enterprise-level tools without enterprise-level complexity or price tags, right? Very simple. If you're a startup building your communication stack and you are not already in Google Workspace, right? You might just sign up for Zoho and get started and save a lot on your monthly costs, right? Or if you're a privacy-conscious organization, right? Zoho is absolutely worth considering as well. Its biggest strength lies in how well everything ties together and how it allows you to grow your company if your needs grow. It has seamless connections between email, file storage, document editing, and team messaging. It creates, therefore, a unified workflow that's really hard to replicate with standalone tools. And for teams that care about cutting costs, which every business owner does, right? The not having to app switch all the time and keeping everything in one place, moving files from one place to another very easily, is a real productivity boost. And then there are the WorkDrive's desktop apps, especially TrueSync, make the platform essentially ideal for handling large files like design studios, media teams, engineers. Meanwhile, Built-in password management through Zoho Vault is a standout feature for smaller companies that might otherwise overlook security or pay extra for third-party tools. Okay, obviously, Zoho is not perfect for everyone. If you're already heavily invested in Microsoft 365, especially if you rely on advanced Excel macros or tools like Access, staying with Microsoft may make more sense because moving is possible. There are migration services and tools, but it's a pain in the butt. It's a pain in the butt to move, and it comes with its own security risks, right? Similarly, if your team is established Google Workspace and you're happy with the tool, switching might not be worth the adjustment period. What we've done here is we did a partial switch to Zoho just to test it out and see whether it's worth it or not. We're still in the consideration phase, but if you'd like to know more about that, give a like and subscribe to this video because we're going to be documenting everything, and we're also going to help you with the migration from Google Workspace to Zoho. If you're interested, you can find a link in the description box below to get in touch, and we'll help you with the migration. And there's another thing that is really interesting for me and my business, which is if they will work a bit more with integrations. Zoho does offer broad integrations through Zoho Flow and a growing list of app connections. But if your team relies on very specific third-party apps or you have deeply customized workflows, you want to test compatibility before switching, obviously, right? Still, Zoho has made meaningful strides here too with integrations for Slack, Dropbox, Salesforce, Trello, and even Outlook, right? And it's clear they're actively improving based on user feedback. And we have recent additions. There's built-in PDF editing. There's a code editor, enhanced admin tools. They really show steady and practical progress in this regard. And we have also accessibility. We have features like reading masks, adjustable spacing, and focus highlighting are just built in right into the platform, making it a thoughtful choice for users with visual, mobility, or learning challenges. And that kind of inclusive design, it's not just a checkbox, right? It's integrated into the core user experience. All right, I know you're here for my final verdict, and thank you for making it through this massive Zoho Workplace review. Thank you very much for sticking with me and giving me your time of the day. Hopefully you're still enjoying your coffee. So I'm just gonna have a sip here. My verdict: if you're running a small team or even a mid-sized organization and you're looking for a productivity suite that balances power, privacy, and affordability, especially affordability, Zoho Workplace is an excellent alternative to big-name providers. It's especially well-suited to businesses that want an all-in-one system for email, collaboration, file storage, video calls, and password security without needing a tangle of separate subscriptions. And if you're on the fence, I really highly recommend taking advantage of the free trial, which we have down in the description box below. Click on the link. It sends you to a sign-up form. You can sign up there and then give it a spin. Spend a few days testing out TrueSync, see how seamlessly the apps connect, and decide for yourself if the platform fits the way your team works, because this is what it's all about, right? And if you decide to make the switch after this video, know that Zoho has built-in migration tools, right? So you can bring in over your emails, contacts, calendars, and files from platforms like Google Workspace, Microsoft 365, or even older IMAP servers. And you can even run split delivery to migrate in phases, which we've done. It's perfect if you want to test the waters with just parts of your team first. So, what are your thoughts on Zoho Workplace? Have you tried it in your organization? Are you using it actively, or are you considering making the switch? Let me know in the comments below, and I'd love to hear your experiences with different productivity platforms and what features matter most to your team and to your company, and what projects you're working on to use these tools. And as usual, don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth reviews of business software, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out our upcoming comparison of cloud storage solutions for small businesses.